All right, Nick, week 11. There are now officially 7 games left in the season. We have made our way through a majority of the season, leaning towards past the halfway point now. And it's time to reflect on some stuff that's been done in the offseason. And we want to focus here on the Seattle Seahawks because we have some data, some points, some things we want to bring up that we think Seattle has possibly made one of the greatest trades of all time, Nick. It's certainly looking that way. And I'm going to let you get into that whole spiel here in just a second. But Seattle fans, we've got to know in the comments below. Let us know just in general. What do you think the greatest trade of all time was? Was it Herschel Walker? Was there a number of other trades out there that seemed like a steal? The Laramie Tunsil trade comes to mind. There's a couple of other good ones out there. But let us know in the comments below, what do you think is the greatest trade of all time? But Nick, what do you have on Seattle?
Yeah, so obviously it's been said ad nauseum, but the Seahawks in the offseason, when they moved off Russell Wilson, trading him to the Denver Broncos for Locke, Harris, Fant, 2 number ones, 2 number twos, and a fifth. The big message was, oh, this is a rebuilding mode. It's going to take time for these picks and these players to come into fruition over the next couple of years. Seahawks have obviously proved everybody wrong, and you're seeing this right now according to CBS Sportsline. So they came out, you brought up, we're in the final 2-month or so stretch of the season here. They gave every team's playoff chances. So the Seattle Seahawks, right, they traded away their franchise quarterback, Russell Wilson, 92.7% chance of making the playoffs. 92.7, that's the 4th highest in the entire NFC, behind only Philly, Minnesota, and Dallas. So 4th best in the NFC, 92.7 Seattle. How about Denver Broncos, right? They got the franchise quarterback. They got the potential future Hall of Fame guy in Russell Wilson. The Denver Broncos have just a 3.9% chance of making the playoffs in the AFC. That's 4th worst in the AFC. So this is a situation, mine's very rarely do you have a trade. They say you have to wait a few years to see how things shake out, especially for a team like Seattle, because normally when they get a lot of picks, you brought up the Herschel Walker trade, it's a famous one. Dallas made that trade in 1989. They didn't become really good till about 2 or 3 years later. Then they started that run in the 90s. So they say, hey, normally you got to wait a few years for the team that trades away a guy that gets its draft picks, for them to see how they turn out. Well, you don't have to wait very long here. That Seattle definitely won this trade. They're already far better than Denver is. Russell Wilson looks like a shell of his former self. Geno Smith's been playing like a stud. A couple of their draft picks are already playing at a high level, and they have potentially a top 10 draft pick. It's looking that way because Denver's struggling into their belt next year and on top of their own draft pick, and of course a high 2nd-round draft pick as well. I think you're right on the money here that this could be one of the greatest trades in NFL history, and Pete Carroll and this group here in Seattle pulled off a masterclass move, moving off Russell Wilson, how they did.
Yeah, Nick, and I mean, the numbers don't lie either. Like per PFF, Seattle, the 9th ranked team right now, and I believe Denver is 22nd. Yes, 22nd overall ranked team. So there's a big disparity there. And I'm just looking at Seattle, Nick, and their schedule for the rest of this season. I can see why this 92.7% playoff chance here. It makes a lot of sense to me. They have the bye. They come off. They play the Raiders, who are struggling. They're going to win that game easily. They go to the Rams, divisional game, but the Rams are struggling. Should be a good win for Seattle. Panthers struggling. Niners, tough game. Chiefs, tough game. Jets could be a tough game. And then they got the Rams again. So 4 of their next 7 seem like good wins for Seattle, but they have potential to do much more than that. But this Denver team, Nick, some of the numbers I'm looking at, they have the 2nd ranked defense in the NFL. And it means like Russell Wilson's got to be the problem here. This offense has to be the problem because the defense is playing out of their mind. They're getting all these opportunities. They're holding teams to low points. You see games, I believe the Broncos game this past week, the score was like 17-10 or something like that. So they're holding teams to low points. The offense just can't produce. So it looks like a genius move, like you said, for Seattle to go, all right, we can get a haul for Russell Wilson. He doesn't seem happy here. It's not working out. We haven't been good in the last couple of years. Let's trade Russell Wilson. Let's go with Geno Smith and see what he can do and get a haul for him. It paid off for them. They have multiple 1st-round, 2nd-round picks. They got a good amount of players. Noah Fant looks really good. A couple other guys they got look really good. Geno Smith is playing phenomenally. He just needed a chance to show how bright he could shine. And, like you said, Nick, It's incredible to me how early this trade has paid off and just how much of a future Seattle has built off of this. Is going to help them for the next coming 5, 10 years to be a powerhouse in the NFC.
Oh, especially when you look at the division, right? You've got the 49ers that are winning, but they kind of went all in on McCaffrey. They have that contract. They have the quarterback who knows what Trey Lance, Jimmy G is going to happen. You look at the Cardinals, they look like a dumpster fire with Kyler Murray, Cliff Kingsbury. They're always barking at each other. Who knows what's going to happen there? The LA Rams, to your point, are really struggling. That whole F them picks thing. Seattle took the opposite approach, and the Rams got a Super Bowl, but they look terrible now. Seattle looks great. This is one of those moves where we talk about another NFC West dynasty in Seattle. Don't be surprised, Seahawks fans, if in 2030, 2029, if you look back at these past 6, 7 years, and you got 4 or 5 division titles, because this roster is young, they're athletic, they're exciting, they're only going to get better, and they're already pretty good. This is going to be one of those moves when we look back in kind of the annals of NFL history, like the Laramie Tunsil trade, Herschel Walker trade, all these kind of big trades that kind of, shake up the structure of the league. I think this Russell Wilson trade will rank just as highly as that, because this is a beautiful example by the Seattle Seahawks by selling at the absolute high point. They got rid of Russell Wilson to a desperate Denver Bronco team. Remember, the Broncos, oh, we're a quarterback away. Doesn't seem to be the case right now, and the Seahawks took advantage of that. They look great, and they're going to be good for a very, very long time.